Hey guys, how you doing? This is Benjamin with Benjamin's Exotics, and today in this video we're going to be looking at really quickly how I set up my mealworm breeding tubs. I'll get right into the video. It's very simple, actually. It's not too complicated. Some people, if they're first getting into it, they got to worry about bedding, food, substrate, all this stuff. But it's very simple how we're going to set these guys up. You have a few different options, but I'll show you the way I do it, and I'll maybe talk a little bit about other ways you could do it. But there's really two ways in the rack systems that I build and that I use. There's really two ways we're going to do it. Number one is we're going to just simply set them up in the bottom of the bin, and then your other option is to have a smaller bin like these little ones that fit perfectly at the dollar store that you can just take out and clean, and you never actually have to clean this big container from the rack. There's pros and cons to both, but that's just a way you guys can do it. It's not going to change anything. You guys can decide. So after we've got our container that we are going to do, basically, first thing you got to do is customize it. Most containers will not work for mealworm breeding simply because they hold too much humidity whenever you put food in there. So there's two ways we're going to do it. You're either just not going to have a lid on top of this, but if you're in a rack system, you can't really do that because they already have kind of built-in racks that are basically just the bottom of the other tubs. So there's two ways you can do it. Either way can work. You can either just go crazy with it like I did, put some bigger holes at the top and then just a bunch of tiny small holes, and then on the side right here we got 5 rows of air ventilation holes. This one isn't as extreme. There's only 3 rows on each side and there's none on the front. But I am having a little bit too much humidity in here that I don't want, so I'm probably going to put this kind of style and then put a few extra rows on this container once these mealworms get cleaned and moved out of this, because I don't want to do it when they're in here because any fumes going on them I wouldn't want to feed to my gecko, of course. And the reason you need these is a few things. Number one, if you don't freeze your bedding, you should, but if you don't freeze your bedding and any amount of humidity builds up in there, you're going to have basically what they're called wheat mites, and they're going to completely destroy your mealworm colony, and they're just a pain to deal with. They're just like little tiny white mites that just take over everything. They feed off the moisture, and they also eat the cornmeal, and it's automatically, the eggs are automatically going to be in cornmeal, oats, anything like that. And if it hasn't already been frozen, it's going to have the little eggs inside, and you just add moisture to those and you're asking for a big problem. So always have ventilation. And after you have that, your container's ready to go. Either way you're doing it, doesn't matter. You have to look at the main thing, which is the substrate and the bedding and / food. They'll eat this cornmeal or oats, whatever you put on the ground. They'll eat the cornmeal or the oats, or you could also use like wheat mix or something. I've used cornmeal and oats, never tried the wheat mix or wheat brand, whatever you want to call it. It's just basically ground up wheat. It's just like the cornmeal consistency. There's advantages and disadvantages to both cornmeal and oats, and the process is different how you're going to do it. With oats, they're bigger chunks, so when you take your sifter and you try to sift through, only small mealworms are going to fall through the bottom. But with the cornmeal, you scoop up, you sift through, all the cornmeal will fall to the bottom, but the bigger mealworms will be left in, but the smaller ones will also fall. So just on how you want to get your mealworms, that'll determine what kind of bedding you want to use. They both work fine. I've seen that with cornmeal. This is just my opinion. With cornmeal and wheat brand, they tend to grow faster than they do in oats in terms of how long till the mealworms are ready to, be harvested, and how quickly they get to size. So that's just an observation of mine. You can use whichever. I've had success with both, but that's just an observation of mine that these guys in cornmeal do grow faster. And then after that, I like to set it up. If it's a mealworm bin, kind of like this, which is, it's kind of empty right now. We've got some. If we go and we take up this carrot and dig a little bit, yeah, there's a few small mealworms in here, but nothing substantial, or like, there's a really small one right there. But all we're going to do with this is basically just put the food in there and bedding. I'm not going to worry about any hides because mealworms normally won't use hides. They'll just stay under the bedding or be running around a lot. And if you guys can get these tubs that are dark on the side and then see-through in the front, so you can look in to see what's going on, but they're not going to feel completely exposed, the mealworms and stuff will stay out a lot longer, and they won't always be hiding under the substrate, which is easier to find them if you want to feed some off. And with the beetle bins, we're going to do it a little bit differently. We'll actually put hides in here. I have a few reasons. Number one, they will actually lay eggs on this cardboard, and especially this. You might wonder why I haven't taken these out. These are loaded up with eggs, and the eggs will hatch. They're microscopic mealworms, like you can't even see them. They'll fall into the substrate. They'll keep eating and eating and eating, and then they'll get up to size. So if you put cardboard in here, or carrots, as you can see, all that stuff over there, all that garbage, you might say, why don't I take it out? If you take it out, you're going to kill a lot of the eggs off, so leave them in. You want as many babies as possible. Even though it might not look the best, that's how they like it. That's how they breed in the wild. So with these guys, there's a few reasons for setting up the hides. The first reason I already said, because they lay eggs on them, and it's, the production rates are higher. But also, when all the beetles are in one group and they don't have to like search for each other, they breed a lot more. Actually, if I lift one up, let's see if we can find one breeding right now. Oh, I lifted this up a little bit ago, and they're all hiding in these tubes now, and I'm not going to pull the, whatever. Yeah, actually I will. Let's move that guy a little bit. There's a bunch right there, and were those breeding? No, there's only a few. I'm just starting up my colony again. I keep getting it big, then getting it smaller, because I don't need as many mealworms, and the process just keeps going on, but I'm pretty successful when I do it. But and besides that, I use a variety of foods, mainly carrots, potatoes, broccoli and celery, and sometimes spinach leaves. They don't like the spinach leaves as much, but they love broccoli, they love carrots and potatoes, and celery as well. So I would use those main ones. The only reason I put the broccoli in, I put the broccoli in about once a week, and celery in about twice a week, and everything else is carrots or potatoes. And here we have dried up potatoes and one carrot, and then the rest of here is just carrots. But the reason I do the broccoli is because I think it gives them a calcium boost, and it might make them grow a little bit faster, and also if they've got that calcium from the broccoli in their system, when the leopard gecko eats it, it's just extra calcium to help the leopard gecko's bones and everything. So besides that, that's mainly it. Food, bedding, container, hides for the adults, no hides for the young ones, and you never take the hides out. Besides that, there's basically nothing else to it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did like this video, go ahead and give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you guys have any questions, please leave it down in the comments. I normally respond very quickly to anybody that has any questions. But as I said before, hope you guys enjoyed this video very much. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.